Very good evening, students. To all of you. Indrakshi, Priya, Aishwarya, Tom. Students, we are up for this RTP session now. For November 23 attempt. Now, before students, some of the questions are so, Nandagiri, are so brilliant that I must tell to all of you that they, in all probability, will be some of the most expected questions in the examination. Wonderful questions are there, students. Unless you actually see those questions, I'm telling you, students, you will not be in a position to solve those questions. They are so of a very minute and very good level. That is my take, Siddharth. So on that basis, students, we'll start with this particular point. The first one happens to be, first one is the assessment procedure part, relatively a simple one. I'll take up, because it's the start of the session, so I'll take up some of the important, not important means some of the things which you are not that aware of it. So I will use this particular opportunity, Vaibhav, to do those particular MCQ initially, which you people are not that much aware of it. So I'm starting with case study number 2. We will do all the questions, even if it means it may have a split into 2 parts, so be it, but we'll do all the questions. Hitesh. Okay, Siddharth, heartiest congratulations, Siddharth. So good to know about all of you guys doing well. 6 months before, you people were 6 months or a year before, I know your name, you were very much active. So just 6 months or a year before, students like Siddharth and all were a part of our journey. The way many students right now appearing for November 23 are now into this journey. It's really, for a teacher, it becomes such a happy particular moment when they actually hear from their student that they have finally settled down in their life. My best wishes, Siddharth. Do well. God bless you. So students, now it's your turn to shine. Okay, let's start with this one now. Case study number 2. Now students, first we will read this one, students. This is a very important particular part. Case study number 2. This is about what? The question is small, so let me first make you read this question and then I will take you to the provision. I'll explain you some important points and then thereafter we are going to solve the MCQ. Let's start with the provision first. Beautiful particular case study, students. Case study number 2, one of the most expected. You can say, students, this could be the historic night. Do you agree? Ram Kumar, good evening. This could be the historic night, students. An expected question for November 23. We are doing it right now. And at this stage, when we are saying it, I'm telling you, it definitely will have a 100% strike rate. Let's start. The following are the details about Alpha Cooperative Society, referred to as Alpha Cooperative, Beta Cooperative Society, and please be careful, students. There is this Alpha Cooperative Society, there is this Beta Cooperative Society. I hope that all of you can see this provision, or else I'll just make it more broader. Beta Cooperative Society and Gamma Cooperative Bank. Can you see this? Gamma Cooperative Bank. So Alpha Cooperative Society, Beta Cooperative Society, and what is the last one? Gamma Cooperative Bank, students. All of you. Now Alpha Cooperative is engaged in providing what? The credit facility solely to its member. The profit and gains from which is rupees 20 lakhs for previous year 22-23. Alpha Cooperative also derives interest of rupees 3 lakhs from investment in Delta Cooperative Society. From investment in what? From Delta Cooperative Society, students. So be careful. There is another cooperative society from which they have done. Alpha has done what? Students, Alpha has done this particular investment from which they are receiving some income. They are receiving some income. We will do that particular part. Okay. That is one thing. But please be careful. Alpha is a credit facility. Yeah? Providing credit facility to its member. Gamma, we know it is a cooperative bank. In this context, Beta, at this stage, we don't know, but yes, Beta is engaged in marketing of agricultural produce. Be careful of marketing of agricultural produce, because there are some implication of ATP now which is going to come. With ATP, there is an alternate tax regime of 115 BAD also will come into play. 115 BAD will also come into play. Then there is an AMT 115 JC that will also come into picture. Beautiful particular question which is there. One of the best questions, students. Beta Cooperative is engaged in marketing of agricultural produce. So Alpha, students, is for what? Be there with me. Alpha is for credit facility of its member. Beta is for what, students? For marketing of the agricultural produce of its member. And the last one, students, is the Gamma is a cooperative bank. Okay, Gamma is a cooperative bank, students. Thank you, Sachin. Thank you very much. So now, students, over here, the profit and gains from which is rupees 40 lakhs computed for the previous year 22-23. Fine. Profit, I will come to this a bit later. Now, students, over here now, if you see, it has employed 8 new employees with salary of rupees 22,000 per month on 1st of June 2022. 8 new employee students with salary of 22,000 per month on 1st of June 2022. Beta is employed. Huh? So 80JJAA students, that will also come into play. Vardhini. Salary is paid by ECS through bank account. It gets books of account audited. Why books of accounts audited is necessary? Because anyone who wants to claim a deduction under section 80JJAA, anyone who wants to claim deduction under 80JJAA, they need a tax audit of 44AB. They need a tax audit of 44AB. That is the only criteria. It also earns interest of rupees 12 lakhs on FD with Axis Bank and ICICI Bank. Can anyone tell me a cooperative society earning interest income from a private bank? Are they eligible for ATP deduction? Are they eligible for ATP deduction? Just if you can guess this particular part, students. Anyone can guess this particular part? Are they eligible for ATP deduction? Quickly! In this particular case, students, as you all are aware, no ATP deduction will be available in this particular case. No ATP deduction will be available in this particular case. At least on the investment that you have made with the bank. Which bank? Axis. And then thereafter, students. The Axis, and then thereafter the ICICI Bank. I hope that every one of you are clear with this one. Aparna, Vardhini, Hitesh. Gamma Cooperative is engaged in banking business in Bangalore. So Gamma, what was Gamma doing, by the way? Cooperative bank. It is a cooperative bank. So cooperative bank in Bangalore, students. Let's see further. The profit and gains is 110 lakhs for previous year 22-23. It also gets its books of accounts audited under 44AB. We will see what we have to do about this 44AB. It is not a primary agricultural, this is important, not a primary agricultural cooperative society or a primary cooperative agriculture rural development bank. Is that point clear to all of you? So Gamma, a cooperative bank, is not a primary agricultural credit society or a primary cooperative agriculture rural development bank. Students, just pay attention now. Be very careful. Huh? A cooperative bank, students, there is an important amendments which are being made, which you all should know. This is not a this year amendment, but the 3 years back amendment which has been made. As you may be aware, all the cooperative bank students, the cooperative bank which you all are aware, students, they are now at par with that of a private bank. A cooperative bank are at par with that of a private bank. So therefore, a cooperative bank now in this case, like for example, students, you remember there is a banking company. For a banking company, there is a special deduction which is given under section 3617A, provision for bad and doubtful debts. Are you aware of that? In this case, same is also applicable. Same is also applicable to a cooperative bank also. Same is also applicable to a cooperative bank also. So whatever is now made applicable to a normal banking private bank, that is applicable to a cooperative bank. So therefore, it implies that the ATP deduction, which is 100% of the income from their core business, that deduction will not be available. To whom? To cooperative bank. Unless what? Unless that bank is a primary agricultural credit society, or that bank is a primary cooperative agricultural and rural development bank. So unless they fall under this category, the ATP deduction, students, is not available, because these are the rural banks, the small banks. They are actually a real cooperative bank. They are actually a real cooperative bank. Think of bank like Saraswat Bank, one of the biggest bank. They are also a cooperative bank, which I know. Then there is in Mumbai, Shamrao Vittal Bank. Again, if you see their balance sheet, they are much bigger than, in fact, I must say, even HDFC. That kind of a size it is. So obviously, they cannot have that huge size and also at the same time claim ATP deduction. So ATP is for the smaller cooperative bank. And which are those smaller cooperative bank? The agricultural society and those cooperative agricultural and rural development bank, because these are in the cooperative areas. Is that clear? Now friends, before we proceed further, I just want you to refer quickly couple of things. I just want a couple of run through with all of you. One is this ATP deduction. Students, can you see this one? One is this ATP deduction which has been there. This ATP, students, I'm telling you, November attempt, this is most likely, and this cannot be best in, I'm telling you students, why this I'm saying so? ATP was already due. Now with this case study number 2 have such a fantastic combination. Case study number 2 therefore becomes a direct pickup of a question for your examination. Direct pickup. Let's do this. Now if you all see this ATP deduction, students, in this context, there are some 100% deduction on these specified activities in this case and also on the investment activity, students. Can you see this investment? Let's first finish it off this investment part. So if you see in this question, I think it was Alpha, if I'm not mistaken, Alpha has made an investment in another cooperative society from which it is earning some dividend, or I think it is interest that it has earned from investment in another cooperative society. Investment in the another cooperative society, in this case, students, will that be eligible for deduction? Investment in another cooperative society, will that be eligible for deduction? And the answer is yes in this context. ATP, if you can see over here, students, in this context, students, can you see this? 100% of interest and dividend derived by a cooperative society from its investment in any other cooperative society. Okay. Apart from that, students, there are some other 100% also. I'll just try to finish it off this 100% part. 100% of income derived by a cooperative society from letting out of what? Letting out of the godown or warehouse for storage, processing, etc. So any let out activity of the godown which they are doing, who is doing? Cooperative society, from which they are earning a rent, that rental income also would be eligible for this particular exemption. Fine, students. Now the next particular point which has been there in this case, students, please have a look. Income of a banking business of its member. Now many students will say, sir, a banking business has been referred. Who? Which banking? Which particular bank, students? We already discussed. Which bank, students? It is a primary cooperative, primary agricultural cooperative bank. And what is the next one? The rural cooperative bank. The rural cooperative bank, students. These are the two categories. Isn't it? So that is also the point that you should keep in mind. Then if you see, students, over here, profit attributable to the marketing of agricultural produce. Beta in our question is doing this. Beta in our question is doing this. Yes, Vardevi. So beta in our question is doing this. So 100% is available for beta. Okay. What about gamma? Whether gamma will qualify? No, gamma will not qualify because it is not a primary agricultural cooperative bank or a rural cooperative bank. Let's finish it off, students, the other one quickly. So the third one, students, if you can see, income from purchase of agricultural implement, seeds, livestock intended for the purpose of supplying them to its member. So obviously the cooperative society purchases in bulk so as to get the economies of scale, and the same is passed on to whom? To the members, isn't it? So therefore they can have the cooperative society by purchasing in bulk, they will get the economies of scale, and the same is then transferred to whom? To the members. So therefore whatever is the margin is the income of the cooperative society, and that income of the cooperative society, is it eligible for ATP deduction? And the answer is yes. Thereafter, income from processing of agricultural produce, processing but without aid of power of the agricultural produce of its member is also deductible. So that is the one. Income of activity of collective disposal of labor of its member. Supply of farmers. So supply of farmers can be an example over here, wherein they are supplying the farmers in this situation, and therefore by virtue of the disposal of the labor, collective disposal of the labor of the member, that particular activity will also be eligible for a full ATP deduction. Fishing and allied activities, and thereafter, students, primary society engage in supply of milk, oil seeds, fruits, etc. Thereafter, students, if you see deduction under section ATP C2 in case of a consumer cooperative society like Apna Bazaar, consumer goods consumption which has been there. So Apna Bazaar is one of the example wherein you get the edible things to eat and all. So these are the consumer societies. So for them 1 lakh deduction. For all the remaining, in this case, students, would be eligible for a 50,000 deduction for their other activities. For all the other activities of the eligible cooperative society, 50,000 would be the deduction which has been there. Now, nevertheless, students, this is what it is. Now, 115 BAD, many of you are aware of it. Now, 115 BAD, be careful, students, 115 BAD. This is an alternate tax regime. Alternate tax regime. Applicable to whom? To a cooperative society. What is the rate of tax, students? For an alternate tax regime, what is the rate of tax? Rate of tax, students, alternate tax regime, it is 22%. Plus a flat surcharge. Flat surcharge of what? 10%. Plus HEC of 4%. Okay. Now, as we all are aware, in all the provision relating to the alternate tax regime, some big deductions needs to be foregone. We need to surrender some big deductions. We all know which are those, like profit link deductions. And for the cooperative society, which is the biggest profit link deduction? For the cooperative society, whichever is the biggest profit link deduction? ATP. ATP, students, they need to let go. If they are opting for 115 BAD, then ATP they need to let go. Then and only then this 115 BAD at 22% plus a flat surcharge of 10% plus 4% of HEC will be made available. Plus 4% of HEC will be made available. Is that point clear to all of you, students? Up till here? Quickly, students, tell me. So this is one thing which has been there in this regard. All of you. Fine, students. So this is one of the part that you should always keep in mind. Perfect. Now, supposingly, students, some cooperative society will say, no, we want ATP reduction. Yes, ATP reduction if you want. please go ahead and take, if they are taking ATP deduction, then 115 BAD is not available, students. Dilip, 115 BAD is not available. If you are taking ATP deduction, whether 115 BAD will that be available? No. So this is what it would be. And in that case, students, can you tell me, please tell me, students, in this case, what will be the rate of tax? What will be the rate of tax if you are taking ATP? The rate of tax as per the Finance Act. As per the Finance Act, are you aware of that? From 0 to 10,000 students, it is 10%. Be careful, now this question will test this thing. From 10,001 Aishwarya to 20,000. To 20,000, it is 20%. Thereafter, from 20,001 onwards to total income, to whatever is the total income, means balance, I must say balance, it is 30%. From 20,001 to your total income, it is 30%. So this is a slab rate applicable to a cooperative society. This is a slab rate applicable to a cooperative society if they don't follow 115 BAD. If they don't follow 115 BAD, then they can take ATP deduction. Yes, they can take ATP deduction. After ATP deduction, whatever is the balance income left, on that balance income, this is a slab that has to be applied. Is that clear to all of you? One beautiful point, students, are going to come now. And I'm telling you, you people will be surprised with the level of the question which the ICI has drafted. Yes, Dhananjay. So from 20,001 to total income. That is the balance only. In this context. So therefore, in this context, let's proceed further. Hearing. Shall we start? Let's start, students. So students, in this case, what is the question? Please have a look. Question number 7. Would alpha cooperative and gamma cooperative be entitled to deduction under ATP? Alpha and gamma. Gamma is a cooperative bank. Huh? Tell me whether gamma will be eligible for this? No. In fact, only we have concluded alpha is what, students? Alpha is primarily credit facility. Yes, credit facility is eligible. Yes, it is eligible. We have seen that. So alpha is credit facility. That credit facility, students, is eligible. We all know that. What about for the gamma, students? For the this thing? So alpha is a credit facility, students, and for the credit facility, it is all eligible. We know that. Fine. The beta, students, if you see, beta is for marketing produce. Marketing of the agriculture produce, students. Is it also available? Marketing of the agriculture produce, is it also available for ATP deduction? And the answer is yes. So far as gamma is concerned, gamma is not eligible for the ATP deduction, and that exactly is the point, students. So gamma is not eligible for ATP deduction. So would alpha cooperative and gamma cooperative be entitled to deduction under ATP for AY 2023 if they do not opt for 115 BAD? So therefore, students, in this case, what is that you are going to say? Gamma is definitely not in this case in the race. Alpha is in the race. Gamma is not entitled. So if you see gamma is not entitled to deduction under ATP, that we can see. Gamma is entitled. So this is the wrong answer. Gamma is entitled. This is also a wrong answer. Gamma cooperative is not entitled. This is one of the things. So students, always keep in mind, whenever you read the MCQ, obviously the pace is also important. So the simplest in this case is the gamma. Now instead of reading down all the MCQ, I now know it is a selection between A and D. It is selection between A and D. Now how did I select it? This is how we selected. Whenever there is a two combination question of the MCQ, it becomes relatively easier to answer. You can answer one and you can eliminate the wrong options. So after answering one, which is for gamma, I have eliminated the remaining two, which leaves me only for the two MCQs now, which is the two MCQs A and D to be answered, isn't it? So this is one thing which you should always keep in mind, the trick that you can play in this regard. So over here, students, point number A, alpha cooperative is entitled to deduction under ATP only in respect of interest of rupees 3 lakhs and not in respect of profit and gains of rupees 20 lakhs. Okay, now what about this one? Alpha only in respect of 3 lakhs. How come? For credit facility, the profit and gains of its 20 lakhs, it is their core business. Isn't it their core business? Yet it is their core business. So for the core business, whether they will be eligible for deduction? Answer is yes. So 100% definitely for their core business. And what about the interest income from the investment? Interest income from their investment, even that will be 100%, students. Even that will be 100%. Is that point clear to all of you? So both of them, students, are 100%. So definitely this is incorrect answer, which leaves me to the correct one would be, in this case, alpha is entitled for deduction of ATP, both in respect of profit and gains of 20 lakhs and interest of 3 lakhs. Is that point clear to all of you? Let's come to this particular part, students, now. Would the provision of alternate minimum tax be attracted in the case of alpha cooperative, beta cooperative, gamma cooperative for assessment year 23-24? For the assessment year 23-24, students. So that is what they try to suggest over here for assessment 23-24. Beautiful question, students. Again, I'm repeating. Now, what exactly it is? Whether AMT is going to be applicable. Students, AMT, if you know, primarily what we do is just that we have to calculate the normal tax. AMT is for the non-corporate SSE. The normal provision, students, we computed their PGBP, total income. We calculate thereafter chapter 6A. And thereafter, students, total income is what we calculate, normal provision. Total income is what we calculate in the normal provision. And then in the AMT calculation, students, what we do, you have the total incomes to start with. And from the total income, you have to do some additions. Which are the additions? So one of the additions are 10AA deduction, vanilla. 10AA deduction. Another is the net 35AD. I'm just writing for net 35AD. Net 35AD. Net 35AD means 35AD deduction. And from that you minus the depreciation amount. From that you minus what? The depreciation amount. So that is what has to be reduced. And then thereafter, so this added, net 35AD added. And finally, students, be careful. You will also add the profit linked deduction. The profit linked deduction, students, is also to be added in this case. The profit link deduction also has to be added in this case. Now this profit link deduction, students, if you see, be very careful. Now if you all have copied down this one, indeed Aparna, the profit link deduction, students, as you all are aware, it is except what? Except ATP. All the other profit link deduction has to be, I'll just show you, students. See the provision, how the provision goes. Just a second. See the provision for yourself of AMT. AMT chapter, students. I'm just sharing with all of you AMT chapter over here. And what exactly we are getting it, students? Can you see that? Beautiful MCQ. So over here, students, if you see very carefully, what happens? the AMT part, you have to calculate the adjusted total income, isn't it? You will have to calculate the adjusted total income. So adjusted total income, when you calculate it, students, how you calculate the adjusted total income? This thing, deduction under chapter 6a, deduction under chapter 6a, deduction in respect of certain income except for ATP. So all the remaining students deduction will be required to be all the remaining profiting deduction students will be required to be added back except for this. Now students, this starts from, I'll just tell you which are this profiting deduction. This starts from 80 IA to I think 80 RRB. This are range. So in this range, except ATP, rest all the deduction students has to be added back. Rest all the deduction has to be added back. So except this ATP deduction, rest all the deduction will have to be added back. Is that point clear to all of you students? Every one of you? Fine students, so this is what exactly it is. So except ATP is what I have mentioned to all of you. Okay? Please tell me if the cooperative society is having AMT. Now I'll ask you a question. Two questions I'm asking. AMT, whether we need to add back. Question is ATP deduction. And the second question is Vardini, ATJJA deduction. Because in this question there was some reference of ATJJA also that has came. So let me in fact try to take you through to this. Anyone who is claiming an AMT, Hitesh, Vardini, all the students quickly. Anyone who is claiming AMT, anyone means definitely cooperative society we are doing right now. I told you that you need to add in the total income what? The profit link deduction or the deduction in respect of certain income. The deduction, to be very precise, the deduction in respect of certain income except deduction under ATP. This in heading C, what they're talking about heading C. Heading C students covers provision of ATIA, starts with ATIA and it goes till ATRRB. So in this case, Aparna, Aishwarya, ATP deduction students, final answer is no addition, not to be added back, not to be added, praising, not to be added, Indrakshi. ATJJA, praising, will that be added back, Suryaprabha? In this case, this will be added back. I hope that all of you are clear with this one. Yes, Suryaprabha, Indrakshi, Vajala, ATJJA will be added back. Is that point clear to all of you? Fine students, are you now prepared to handle this? Now students, why this is such an important question? Do you know students, what is the AMT rate? 18.5%. Every one of you are aware of it. Hitesh, 18.5%, every one of you are aware. Abhin. But I must tell you one amendment part. And what is amendment? Can you see this? Finance Act 2022 for your attempt only. What is the rate of AMT for cooperative society? 15%. Vaibhav, 15%. Priya, can you see this? What about the surcharge? Surcharge parameter is same, huh? Like in the total income also, this same parameter is there. So there is no different parameter. So surcharge is what? If the total income exceed 1 crore, 7%. If the total income exceed 10 crores, 12%. So here we will say if the adjusted total income, here we will say what students? If the adjusted total income exceed 1 crore, 7%. If the adjusted total income exceed 10 crores, 12%. I hope that all of you are clear with this. On this backdrop, now we are ready for students practical questions. Are you all ready as well? Can we then start with the practical? Let's get started then. Indeed. Yeah, Hitesh, same as company. So here, be careful. Question number 8. Would the provision of AMT be attracted in the case of alpha cooperative, beta cooperative, and gamma cooperative students? And gamma cooperative. So this is the point over here. Will it be attracted in this case? If they do not opt for section 115 BAD. If they do not opt for 115 BAD. Now students, in this case, if you see ATP deduction, any cases being there, students, please understand, for alpha, please pay attention. From their core business, alpha is for what? Alpha is for the credit facility. Credit facility. So credit facility is, I think, 20 students. This is what we did, na? Credit facility was 20. We are talking about alpha right now. 20, and then there was investment income from other cooperative society. Investment income from other cooperative society students. From other cooperative society. How much is that? 3 lakhs. Entire ATP. Students, if you see entire ATP. But how are they? So therefore, in this case, entire ATP. So let's ATP deduction. Okay. So this total income is nil. Total income is nil. Now, when you have to calculate what? Adjusted total income for AMT purpose. Are you going to deduct ATP deduction, friends? Are you going to go for ATP deduction? ATP, will this be added? Answer is no. ATP will not be applicable. So adjusted total income, students, is also students, what? Nil. Why? Because ATP will not be added back. And therefore AMT is also what? Nil in this case. For alpha we are talking about it. So AMT is also nil. So alpha, no AMT. What about for, in this case, students? So all of you agree to this one. Now if you see very carefully for gamma, for beta, sorry, in this case, students, beta, students, is for what? What is the income of beta, students? Beta has got 40 lakhs. Students, beta has got 40 lakhs. Now be careful, students. Beta has got 40 lakhs. Huh? Can you see this? Beta has got 40 lakhs from their core business. Which core business? Marketing of agriculture produce. So let's talk about beta now. So far as beta is concerned, so from their core business, which is eligible for ATP, this is eligible for ATP, 40 lakhs. Thereafter, students, in this case, so 40 lakhs. Plus they've got interest from other banks, 12 lakh, students. Interest from other bank, other private bank, students. Interest from other private bank. How much is that? 12 lakhs. Okay, GTI for beta is 52 lakhs. GTI is how much? 52 lakhs. Now they get, students, ATP deduction 40 lakhs. 100% of their normal this income, 40 lakhs. And then thereafter, students, 80JJAA. 80JJAA, students. Whether 80JJAA will that be available? Whether 80JJAA will that be available? Students, I will request to all of you that you please also solve it. You don't only see this thing. You also copy on this particular thing, because in the day of the examination, to directly know, because they are all calculation based. Now 80 double deduction. Quickly students, give me the answer. How much is the amount of deduction? 8 employees. Aparna is saying 5,28,000. All of you agree? 5,28,000. 22,000 per month into 10 months. Into 10 months students. So 8 into 22 into 10, and that is 30%. Is it 5,28,000? What Aparna is saying? Quickly students, other students say confirm this one. Quickly, Calci also needs to be there. Aishwarya. I don't have a Calci with me. I will be dependent on you people at this stage. So therefore the total income in this particular context, the total income students in this particular context would be how much? 6,72,000 students. Avi, 6,72,000. Now students, just calculate a tax liability, normal tax liability. What would be the normal tax? Let's calculate the normal tax. If I have to calculate the normal tax in this case, if I have to calculate the normal tax, so from 0 to 10,000, 10%, which comes to how much? 1,000. From 10,001 students, above. From 10,001 to 20,000, 20%, which is 2,000. Now from 20,001 to 6,72,000, which is the total income, 30%. So students, directly 6,52,000, please take 30%. How much is that? Aparna, is that the total that you're telling me? Is this a total? 198,600. You people have said total 198,600, which means this would be 195,600. Okay, plus the okay, surcharge would not be applicable directly. HEC at the rate of 4%. HEC at the rate of 4%. I can directly take you to the solution also, but at least I want and would give you an opportunity to solve, how to solve for a cooperative society a practical question, because otherwise you people would not have solved at all any question relating to cooperative society. So this, at least the question is giving you this opportunity, do that. So therefore, otherwise I can directly jump into the MCQs also, and I can tell you this is answer, this is answer. But life is never in black and white. You all are aware of it, isn't it? CA students, you people are aware of it. It's not that in black and white. So students, HEC 7944. So by these statements, tear has came from our eyes. Indeed. Total tax. Total tax is 206,540. Round it off to the assurance, round it off to the nearest 10. Do round off to the nearest 10. So this is the total tax. Now, if they are beta students in this case, is going for alternate tax regime, sorry, AMT. So if AMT is going to be applicable, please tell me that total income is how much? 672. In the total income, what are you going to add? What are you going to add? For AMT purpose, Priya, in this case, Ranjit, the amount that you are going to add students would be what? Indeed, 80 double A, which is 5,28,000. Priya, 80 double A. Dhananjay, indeed Dhananjay, Aparna. So therefore my 80 adjusted total income students, quickly. Yeah, Indrakshi, Vajana, 80 double would be, I think 12 lakhs. Perfect. 12 lakhs is my 80 double A. Now in this case students, calculate the AMT. AMT would be how much? At the rate of 15%. 15% of this would be 1.8 plus HEC. Just give me the answer. As such, I don't want the answer, final answer, but still we are getting an opportunity. So let's solve it. Otherwise, I don't want the answer at first place. Aishwarya, Aparna, Vaibhav, Surya Prabha, Vardhini, 4% quickly. Whatever it be. Final answer is what you have to give me. $187, $200. Okay, students. So this is for whom? For beta students. So this is the situation for beta. So beta we have seen. Now be careful. In the case of beta, therefore can we say this is for the beta we have worked out. Now for gamma, what is the scenario? Gamma students, in this case, quickly. For gamma students, did gamma has taken any profit deduction? Profit deduction, is it available for any profit deduction, students? And the answer is no. If not applicable, if they are not applicable for a profit deduction, in this case, if they are not applicable for a profit deduction, then in that case, AMT not applicable. AMT not applicable because gamma is not a cooperative bank. So gamma is not a rural development or the agricultural bank. Hence, AMT not applicable. So gamma is ruled out because for AMT you need to either have 35 AD, 10 AA, or in that chapter 6A from 80IA to 80 RRB except ATP. Leave aside ATP because ATP will not be any case added back. Which now leaves us with what, friends? What we have? We had alpha. Alpha is only ATP. So if it is only ATP, AMT is not applicable. AMT is not applicable. If it is only ATP, AMT is not applicable. Why AMT is not applicable? We have seen this. What about for the beta? For the beta, there was ATP and ATJJAA. Because it was ATP, that is fine. But because there was an ATJJAA, therefore whether AMT gets invoked because of that ATJJAA deduction, whether the AMT gets invoked or not, and the answer is yes. See, they are not talking about the liability. Please understand the question. Beautiful question. What is the question? Whether AMT will be attracted or not. Attracted means whether it is going to be invoked or not. They are not talking about the liability. I also understand that the liability would be as per the normal provision because the AMT is at what? 187,200. 187,200, whereas this is at 206,540. So I agree to this proposition. The fact that total tax would be as per the normal provision, but that is not the question. They are not talking about the liability. They are talking about the applicability. They are talking about whether it is going to be attracted, whether it is going to be invoked. So for beta, it is going to be invoked because they have taken ATJJAA deduction. That is the reason why this gets attracted. Is that point clear to all of you? So therefore the AMT provision would be attracted in the case of beta cooperative. Beautiful question, students. What do you say about it, students? Are you also getting a feel that this is going to be the likely question? Are you getting the feel or not, students? Indeed. Point number 9. What would be the tax liability, students? What will be the tax liability rounded off of beta cooperative for assessment day 23-24 if it opts for 115 BAD? So beta, if it is opting for 115 BAD, it may be assumed that the GTI is the same under the normal provision of the Act and under 115 BAD. So beta, if it opts, students, in this case, you all are aware. So if it is opting for 115 BAD, which deduction will go away? For BAD, students, see, please understand, beta is taking two deduction. Beta is taking two deduction. Which two deduction beta is taking? One is ATP and another is ATJJAA. Beauty of it, students, see the beauty. When you talk about 115 BAD, that's a dance of the democracy, students. When you talk about 115 BAD, then what happens? ATP deduction is not available. ATP deduction is not available. But what about ATJJAA? Is ATJJAA available? And the answer is yes. When alternate tax regime is applicable, only few deduction of Chapter 6A is applicable. All of you agree to this one? When alternate tax regime is applicable, then only few deductions are applicable. Which are few deduction? For a domestic company, you may be aware, for domestic company students, you may be aware, the ATM deduction and ATJJAA. For other than domestic company, ATJJAA is constant for all. When you talk about alternate tax regime, plus if you are an individual, then there is something on ATCCD also, which is applicable. So the point is this, that ATJJAA would be there in this case. So accordingly, what will be the GTI students for this one? So the GTI students in this particular case, we already know 40 lakhs plus what? Plus this 12 lakhs of the interest. So 52 lakhs is the GTI. ATL also, yes. Then ATJJAA deduction students, is it available for 115 BAD, ATJJAA deduction? Yes, available. How much is that, students? Indeed, 5.28 lakhs. So therefore, the total income for 115 BAD, how much is the total income for 115 BAD? Total income for 115 BAD would be 46.72 lakhs. Now you apply the tax rate. Apply the tax rate, students. The tax would be at the rate of 22% flat. 22% on this 46.2 plus this 10% flat. You give me the final answer, students. Plus 4%. Give me the final answer quickly. Dhananjay, Aparna, Indrakshi. Whether it is, I want the tax amount, students. Give me the tax amount. 11.75. So all decimals, I just want to correct a full answer because then you have to see. Dhananjay, full, till surcharge, till HEC. So 11.75 lakhs. 11,75,850. 11,75,850. Suruprabha, Vardini, Apara, Hitesh, Dhananjay. What did Dhananjay? Ashwara. So therefore, in this case, the answer is this. What would be a tax liability rounded off of Beta Cooperative for AY 2324 if it does not opt for 115 BAD? If it does not opt for 115 BAD, AMT provisions, if applicable, have to be considered. It does not opt for 115 BAD, students. So if you don't opt for 115 BAD, then you all know, students, in this case, I think we have already solved this. We have got the answer. No? If you don't opt for 115 BAD, then the tax would be as per the normal provision. We already solved it. For the beta. In this case, the tax would be 206,540. Already we have solved it. If it does not opt for this one, so this is the tax liability. 206,540. Already solved. So therefore the answer would be 206,540. Already solved, Ashwarya. Question number 11 now. Would it be beneficial for alpha? I hope that you have got it. So would it be beneficial for alpha? Yeah, 206,540 I said. Would it be beneficial for alpha cooperative, beta cooperative and gamma cooperative to opt for section 115 BAD for AY 2324? See, those who have got ATP deduction heavy, we know that alpha and beta has got a heavy deduction of ATP. In fact, alpha has got 100%. So its total income is 0, tax is 0 under normal provision. So far as beta is concerned, we now know the tax in both the cases. Tax in both the cases. So in this situation, see what happens. If beta opts for 115 BAD, then beta have to pay how much? Apply the common sense. These questions, Ranjit, these questions are of common sense. If beta opts for 115 BAD, then it has to forego that big deduction of its 40 lakhs. It's big deduction of that 40 lakhs under ATP. If it opts for 115 BAD, so what happens? 11,75,850 is the tax liability. Whereas if it does not opt for 115 BAD, its tax liability is only 206,540. 206,540. And therefore, students, what we are going to say, that even they should not opt for 115 BAD. So who should opt for 115 BAD? The one who does not claim the deduction of ATP. Who does not claim deduction of ATP? Gamma. Gamma doesn't claim the deduction of ATP. You all agree to this? And see what happens for the gamma. Whatever is the income, there will be only a flat rate of 22%. As compared to this, if it does not opt for 115 BAD, then for gamma, any income beyond 20,000, will go at 30%. So obviously, students, 30% means it's a huge amount. Only 20,000 is 1,000 and 2,000, and any income goes beyond 20,000, it will be 30%. So if I don't want to solve it, I can just simply say that yes, gamma should opt for it. Gamma students should opt for it in this case. So therefore, in this scenario, students, what exactly it is? Alpha beta should not. So it opt for this one, and this, so this is D. D is the answer for this one. Gamma should opt for it. Gamma should opt for it. Now this is again on the amendment part, students. This question again is amendment part. Question number 12, beautiful question. TDS amendment, expected, students, expected, I am telling you. And that exactly is again. So if you see over here, students, in this particular context, on the TDS particular front, which has been given to all of you. Now, students, as you all are aware of this particular proposition, in this context, this is really a good MCQ, and I will tell you truth, it is expected MCQ. This is a really good MCQ, and I must tell you it's an expected MCQ. Now next one is also an expected one, students. Question number 12, because this is based on the amendment. This is based on the amendment, students. Now, students, as you all are aware, in the case of what? Students, in the case of the benefit or the perquisite which are being provided, students, benefit or the perquisite, students, which are being provided in the course of the business or the profession. So any benefit or the perquisite which are being provided in the course of the business or the profession, in that particular case, what happens? In excess of rupees 20,000 is the value of the benefit of the perquisite. Then the person who is making the payment of such value of the benefit of perquisite will be required to deduct the TDS at the rate of 10%. 10% will be the TDS, students, that will be required to be deducted by the one who is providing such benefit of perquisite. Okay. Now, students, this is one of the important question. You have to be extremely careful about this. And we have to understand whether this could be considered as a benefit or the perquisite or not. Okay. So if you see, if in this context, be careful. ABC Limited, yes, ABC Limited held a dealer conference. So this is about, students, a conference. So students, this is about the conference that has happened in Kochi. Please have a look. So ABC Limited, yeah, I have just did the zoom. ABC Limited held a dealer conference on 22nd. So what is the date of conference? This is the date of conference on 22nd and 23rd August 2022 in Cochin to educate the dealers about the new product being launched by it. New product being launched by it, and how the product is better than the similar products of other companies available in the market. Fine, so it's like a conference. The company's conference is there in Cochin, but the spouse was allowed to accompany the dealer students. The spouse were also be allowed, and they could stay in the hotel from what? 20th August 22 being a Saturday. Leisure trip was organized for dealers and their spouse on 20th and 21st August 2022 being the weekend. The expenses of the airfare, hotel stay, and the leisure trip of all the dealers and their spouse were met by ABC Limited. So entire expenses is met. Students, please understand one thing, and you just be very careful. Students, over here, the conference date is what? Conference date? 22nd and 23rd? 22nd and 23rd, students? The conference date 22nd and 23rd. Okay, so that is one thing which has been there. Now you tell me for these dates, 22nd and 23rd. Now please be careful on one thing. In this situation, 22nd and 23rd. In this case, husband and wife. Husband is a dealer and wife. So husband and wife. Husband is a participant. So the hotel stay expenses. For the hotel stay, students, I am talking about it. For the husband, obviously it is not going to be there because this is not a benefit technically, because that is a conference itself that I am attending. For the husband, it is not a benefit. In fact, I must tell to you one more thing. Husband, it is not a benefit. Why? Because he is attending the conference itself. So therefore, this cannot be categorized as a benefit because those are the date of the conference. Benefit is what? It's beyond business. Anything extra that has been given to you. That is what is referred as what? As a business. That is what is referred as a business. Beyond the business part. So obviously this is not the case. For wife, whatever is the expenditure of the wife that has been borne, obviously that is considered to be what? A perquisite, benefit of perquisite. So for wife, we are going to consider it for sure. In this particular case, students, do you all agree to this one? Do you all agree to this one, students? And that exactly is the point. So this is one thing which has been there as far as the date of conference is concerned. So let's be very clear so far as the date of conference is concerned. Now, I just want that previous two dates, 20 and 21st. Be careful, students. 20 and 21st. They have arrived at 2021st. 20 and 21st. So students, whenever we have to attend the conference, so generally how we go, any conferences, like whenever you people also will go to the conferences and all, which is organized by the company or something like that. So you arrive at a day before. Always it is the norm, because if it is not a one-day conference, please have a common sense. If it is not, you may would have seen the CA conferences also, residential program. You people would have seen that. How those conferences are there? You are for those which are not single day, but which are residential program, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. What happens? You arrive a day before, and when you leave after the day when the conference ends, the next day morning. You are leaving that. The next day you are leaving that. That is how it has to be considered, isn't it? So a day before you arrive, so therefore you check in a day before and you check out the day when the conference is over. The next day morning you are checking out. This is the protocol. So therefore, so far as husband is concerned, let's talk about 21st is what? The 2 dates which are there, students. One is the 21st. 21st is the day before. As far as 21st is concerned for husband, again it will, the hotel expense, we are talking right now only of hotel expenses, students. Just think only of hotel expenses. This is only for hotel expenses. So 21st, which is the day before, husband checking in, primary, that is not a leisure, that is not a benefit. But what about the wife? Wife checking in, obviously in this case for her, it like that is an extra. So that is the benefit which has been given. What about the 28th, students? For 28th, 28th is just because it was a Saturday and Sunday. So therefore they have stated that give us Saturday also. Now if Saturday you are coming, students, then what happens? For husband and for wife, whether for both of them it is a benefit, for both of the 20th they are arriving. So it is just like Monday the conference starts. Okay, Monday the conference starts. But when they are, so Sunday if they would have arrived, then for husband there would not have been any hotel expenses, the stay expenses. For husband there would not have been any perquisite or benefit for husband who is a dealer. Wife, yes, it would be, because for her it is, she is a baggage, extra baggage. Okay, but husband and wife, they came on Saturday. So therefore that Saturday, obviously that is just like they wanted to in fact roam around to the city of Kochi, the beautiful city, isn't it? That exactly is the point. And therefore, students, in this case, husband and wife, for both of them, it will be considered the hotel stay on that day. It will be considered this. Now this is the benefit. Okay, so we will have to accordingly calculate how many days. So in this case, for wife, both the days of 22nd, 23rd. Here, wife also for 21st and both the days. So total number of days. Now you know, students, how many total number of days? If we calculate 1, 2, 4. 4 days we can say that way. So 4 days if you calculate it that way. So 4 is what we will have to consider as a benefit in this case. We will see on the basis of the tariff. What is the hotel tariff? On that basis we will calculate it. I just want to first make you conceptually clear. Second part, students, is about what? Leisure. The company is also arranging for leisure. So far as leisure is concerned, students, leisure, students, what will happen? So 20 and 21st full leisure trip. That is what they have said here. So leisure 20 and 21st, students. What exactly you are going to say? Leisure 20 and 21st. So what will happen? For both husband and wife, it is a perquisite. For both husband and wife, students, it is a perquisite. Do you agree to this one or not? Do you agree to this one? Answer is yes. That exactly is the point. So leisure also, students, we have seen in this regard. Leisure also, students, we have seen in this regard. If you all are clear with this one, can we then proceed with the amounts? Are you all clear with this one, students? Leisure, if the company is taking into account leisure of both husband and wife, then definitely this will be a benefit in both the case, husband as well as for wife. If you are clear with this concept, then I am going to the numbers, because then you have to start calculating. Let's see the number, students. The breakup of the expenditure, the breakup of the expenditure incurred by ABC Limited in relation to Mr. Ashok Sharma, a dealer, for the purpose of the above conference is, now tell me one thing, students, what about the flight expenses? Flight expenses of Ashok Sharma is not a perquisite or the benefit in Rakshi. Aparna, Ayan. Flight expenses is not a perquisite, all of you will agree, for the dealer, because he is attending for the business. Okay, but this flight expenses for a leisure for Singapore, tickets for both wife and husband, that will be a benefit. Now, to and fro of Mrs. Ashok Sharma flight, will that be considered as income? Student, the answer is yes. Mrs. Ashok Sharma will be considered as income. Hotel stay, students, be careful. Hotel stay including breakfast and dinner for Mrs. and Mr. Ashok Sharma, 20 and 21st. 20 and 21st, students. We already have seen for 20 and 21st, the expenditure was equal for each person in each day. For each person in each day. So 20 and 21st, already we have decided, students, what happens for 20 and 21st? 20 for both. So both means, if I say only 20 and 21st question, so I have got total 4. Out of 4 students, may I say 3 will be perquisite, so 3 by 4 of the amount, 3 by 4 of the amount is the perquisite. All of you agree, benefit of perquisite, 3 by 4 is the benefit of perquisite for husband, because 1 day, 1/21st is not considered for husband. Students, 21st is not considered for husband, isn't it? So 21st is not considered, but wife it is considered. For 20th, both husband and wife it is considered. So now, if the expenditure was equal for each person each day, because each person each day, na? So therefore in that case total 4 was there. So how much is the amount? 28,000 students, 28,000, which has been there. Sorry. Yeah, I got it. 30,000 into 3 by 4. 30,000 into 3 by 4, students, quickly. 30,000 into 3 by 4. Aparna, she said 22,500. All of you agree to 22,500? Is the benefit and perquisite? What about for point number 4? Now, point number 4, you will calculate and tell me, students. I will not tell you anything. Now, you only have to tell everything. For point number 4, Abhin, you people only have to tell. Quickly, students. In this case, yeah, that is fine. 22,500. I am talking about point number 4 now. Ranjit, all of you agree to this one, Ranjay? We have seen that. Aparna, Vardini, husband, husband for both the days not a perquisite, wife for both the days it is a benefit. Crazy. Wife for both the days, students, it is a benefit. If for both the days, students, it is benefit, you can see this. 28,000 students. So therefore, students, please write here in 28,000 into half, which is 14K. 14K. Point number 5, expenses for leisure trip on 20 and 21st. It is for both students. So it is full. Expenses on leisure trip, students. Hitesh. Point number 6. Raj Ganesh. Conference expenses on 22nd, 23rd. Attributable to Mr. Ashok Sharma. Conference expenses is not. Attributable to Mr. Ashok Sharma. Conference expenses is not. So, what will be the value of benefit of perquisite of Mr. Ashok Sharma? To Mr. Ashok Sharma, on which tax will be deductible under 195R. So, therefore, in that case, students, add everything. Hitesh has already added 25,000 plus 22,500 plus 14K plus 22K. Is this 83,500? Hitesh has calculated 83,500. Priya, can we proceed further, students? Why, students? Perfect. Now students, I will proceed further. This question, students, question number 13, I will do tomorrow in my second particular class. Part B. So part B, students, I wanted to keep for some other particular critical part so that we balance out both the part together. It should not be that one session is very heavy and other session is lighter. Students, but tomorrow's timing would be, now I have two more questions with all of you. Big question, otherwise this RTP will not get completed. Tomorrow's students' timing would be 11 a.m. Okay, you'll just say, why not you are taking at night? Because unfortunately, I have to go for a visit, temple visit. So therefore, in this case, a religious trip is there. So that is the reason why evening I'm not there. Tomorrow evening and day after tomorrow. So either I can do directly now on Thursday or I can do tomorrow 11 o'clock. You people decide what is okay with you. Decide quickly, students. Two questions, students. One question, and you will be not surprised, students. One question can be directly this only. What we are discussing now. Students, one solution is incorrect. Double taxation. Student, double taxation. Question is good. Unfortunately, the answer is incorrect. This is a really good question. For the first time, ICI has tried to break the shackles in the double taxation avoidance agreement question. For the first time. But unfortunately, the answer is incorrect. That's unfortunate from the part of the ICI students. Thursday in the evening. Let's do Thursday in the evening, students. If my maximum students are agreeable for Thursday evening, so Thursday evening, students, I will be doing Thursday evening timing, students. Students, Thursday evening 8 p.m. will be fine because then we can complete. If it extends also, we can complete Thursday evening. Because my lectures are over by 4:30 on that day, Thursday. So I would be free. So we can start 8 p.m. and we can complete the remaining part. So let's do, students, question number 16. Now, students, here Thursday evening when we do part B, there you will find trust taxation 115 BBI question. 115 BBI, the new 30% rate. Are you aware of that 30% rate? The new question, they have used that. Plus some equalization levy. Beautiful question, students. One of the beauty of the ICI. There is only theory there in the books. Only theory there are there in the books. For the first time, ICI has put a case study. And that is a case study only which is going to be targeted in the exam. I'm telling you, students. Please expect question number 16 as your question number 1. I told you yesterday, and I am repeating this one again, that there will not be any unexpected questions, but difficult question would also be from the known sources. It's that you have not done it, that is your problem, but a difficult question also would be from the known sources. Let's see question number 13 then. This is again an expected question number 1. Expected question number 1. I'm telling you, students, ICI will not be putting a very difficult paper. They would be putting only an average paper for this November 23 attempt. And this will hold good for all the papers. You only need to execute well. Therefore, all the known areas of the questions is what is the ICI going to target in the November 23. And therefore, we cannot take any chance. Question number 16 again would be a likely one which has been there. Even that 194R is a beautiful question. All of you will agree to this? That 194R that we did. The statement of profit and loss of Manav Limited engage in manufacturing activity for the year ended 31st March 2023 exhibits a net profit of 180 lakhs after debiting or crediting the following items. After debiting and crediting of following items. Always question number 1, students. I told you earlier also that whenever you have to read question number 1, after first paragraph, directly what? Directly jump to the last line. And what is the last line? See the last line yourself. You are required to compute the total income and the tax liability of Manav Limited for AY 23-24 with brief reasons for the treatment of each item given above, Manav has opted for the tax as per 115BAA. Manav has opted for tax as per 115BAA. So 115BAA is what is going to be applicable. And if that is the case, students, if that is the case, so you know what will happen. All the big deduction gone. Big deduction gone. And in chapter 6A, for a company, what is available? Chapter 6A for a company, what is available? ATM and ADJJAA. Only these two are available. That is what we all know as far as 115BAA. Students, 115BAA, this is actually good 115BAA, because had it been 115BAB, then there would be problem of remembering the tax rates also, because there are multiple tax rates for 115BAB. We know that multiple tax rates for 115BAB, because the normal is 15%, but other than that it is 22%. That is the problem of 115BAB. Whereas 115BAA has got only one rate, 22%. Yes, surcharge and all, flat 10% you put it. All in 115BAD also you do it. 115BAB also you do it. 115BAA also you do it. So therefore the surcharge that has been done. But 115BAA students is relatively easier as compared to 115BAB in terms of the tax rates. Because only one tax rate should be remembered. Let's see. Interest of rupees 24 lakhs. Now this is amendment. This is important. This is the amendment part. Interest of 24 lakhs relating to financial year 22-23, which is settled by issuing 8% of debentures of 100 each. 8% of debentures of 100 each in August 2023. So please tell me in this case, by issuing 8% debentures of rupees 100 each in August 2023, what are you going to say about it? Whether this 8% debentures of rupees 100 each in August 2023, will that qualify for? Students, will that qualify for? Qualify for what? Deduction. Is it a payment of interest? By issuing a debenture, is it equal to payment? By issuing a debenture, is it equal to payment? There was a case law earlier which says that yes, it is equal to payment. That was overruled through an amendment. Are you aware of that amendment? Amendment says no, this is not a payment. Payment means it has to be actual payment. So by issuing a debenture on the outstanding interest amount, it is not an actual payment. And because it is not an actual payment, in this case, the interest deduction will not be allowed. Okay, so therefore this will be disallowed, students. Add it back. Hitesh, yes. Hitesh is saying, sir, at the time when the redemption of debenture will happen then? Yes, at that time I am paying the debenture, which at one point of time was an outstanding interest. So when you actually redeem the debentures, at that stage, you will be getting the deduction of the amount that you redeemed, because those amount represented what? It represented outstanding interest at one point of time. So it will be allowed as deduction at the time when you redeem it. Is that point clear to all of you? Yes, Aparna. Point number B. Income tax assessment for AY 21-22 was completed in September 2022 with a tax demand of 5,80,000, which included surcharge of rupees 50,700 and cess of 22,308. The entire sum has been duly paid during the financial year 22-23. Duly paid, that is fine, but what are you going to say, friends? Add back. That is debited. Huh? These amounts are debited. So 5,80,000 students will be added back. Point number C. Provision for gratuity based on actual valuation. Rupees 1,80,000 lakh students. Please understand, PGVP, you are not calculating MAT. Students, had it been 115 JB then, if supposedly this would have been a book profit calculation, See the dance of democracy. If this would have been 115 JB, supposingly, if you are calculating 115 JB, then what would have happened? Because it is on the basis of actual valuation, it is not a contingent liability. Because it is on the basis of what? Actual valuation, it is not a contingent liability. And because it is not a contingent liability, hence, as far as the computation of book profit is concerned, this will not have been disallowed. This would not have been disallowed in book profit calculation. But in the computation of total income, whether under the normal provision or whether under the alternate tax regime, one thing is for sure: provision for gratuity under the normal provision or under 115 alternate tax regime, it is disallowed, students. Yes, I am. It is disallowed under 40A7. 40A7 disallowed, provision for gratuity. Even if it is for actual valuation, we don't care. Specific provision for disallowance is there. Specific provision for disallowance, students, is there. Let's take the next one, point number D. Expenditure incurred towards foreign travel. So answer of point number C is add back. Expenditure incurred towards foreign travel of directors 6.5 lakhs to explore opening of branch in foreign country to market its product in the said foreign country. This expenditure, students, again will be allowed as deduction, because this is for the purpose of business and profession, and therefore because it is already debited, we will give no further effect. We will give no further effect, students. Point number E. We will give no further effect. Is that point clear to all of you? Now in this particular context, paid 82,000 rupees for purchase of raw material on 26th January 2023 by making payment in cash to a supplier in a single day. Students, 26th of Jan. Are you aware of that? On 26th of Jan, payment has been made. Will it be allowed? Rule 6DD. Remember Rule 6DD in that case? Remember Rule 6DD, students, in that case? And the answer is, students, now these Independence Day or any holiday or the bank strike will not be considered for the purpose of the deduction. Rule 6DD has been amended to strike out these cases of payment made in holidays or bank strike. Those cases are no longer covered in Rule 6DD, which means disallowance under 40A3 will be applicable. Okay, please come to this one. Paid rupees 11 lakhs to STINC of Japan for online digital advertisement. Students, for what? Online digital advertisement. STINC has no P in India. So service provider has got no P in India. No tax was deducted at source, nor was equalization levy paid on the said amount. So students, do you know this is the case of an equalization levy? Consideration paid 165. 165, students. Consideration paid is more than rupees 6 lakhs. Consideration paid is more than rupees 6 lakhs. And therefore, in this, 1 lakh, and therefore in this case 6% is the equalization levy, which should be deducted by whom? By the SSE, Manav Limited, who is the payer. Okay, who is the payer, but they have not deducted it. So if they have not deducted it, students, just like TDS not deducted, for that there is a disallowance. Here also for equalization levy there would be a disallowance 100%. 100% disallowance, 11 lakhs would be added back. Point number G, incurred rupees 4.6 lakhs on activity of CSR. CSR specifically disallowed, add back. Sold a vacant land to its wholly owned subsidiary, students. Wholly owned subsidiary. So land has been sold to wholly owned subsidiary. There is a long-term capital gains. First of all, you will remove this long-term capital gains, students, to effect. In the net profit, first of all, you will remove the long-term capital gains, because you have to calculate PGBP first. So the long-term capital gains amount of 18 lakhs will be removed. And when it comes to LTCG, then this LTCG will not be taxable. Why it will not be taxable? Because 47, capital asset transferred to a wholly owned subsidiary or vice versa, where the receiving company is an Indian company. In such case, it is not a taxable transfer. 47 exemption will be applicable. Yes, students. Vardini, Ranjit, Hitesh, Aparna, Indrakshi. Point number I, paid 2.2 lakhs to a university as a donation. As a donation, students. Yes, I have. Remove from PGBP and LTCG not taxable. True. Rupees 2.2 lakhs to a university as a donation to be used for research in social science. Research in social science approved under 3513. 3513. Out of this, 1.2 lakhs was paid through net banking channel, balance by cash. Doesn't matter. 115 BAA, 35 donations. 35 donation disallowed. What is only allowed, students, is 3511 and 3514. 3511 is for the revenue expenditure on scientific research, and 3514 is a capital expenditure on the scientific research. This is what is only allowed. Revenue expenditure on the scientific research, and 3514 is a capital expenditure. All the donations, contributions, as far as 115 BAA is concerned, will be disallowed. So you will add it back. Point number J, interim dividend distributed during the year 65 lakh. Be careful of the distributed. First of all, this is a debit. Don't forget. You people will get excited. Okay, sir, distributed means ATM deduction. That you will do in ATM while you discuss chapter 6A. So when you do chapter 6A, at that stage you will look into it. But presently it is debited. Presently dividend is debited. If it is debited, first you need to add it back. And then when you actually will do the ATM deduction calculation at that particular point of time, this interim dividend will be the upper limit, because ATM deduction, students, that you get, ATM deduction that you get is in respect of what? In respect of the dividend that you have received. Dividend that you have received. And the upper limit of deduction, upper limit is what? Upper limit of deduction, students, is the dividend that you have paid. Paid up till what time? Paid up till what time, students? Paid up to a month before the due date of filing of the return of income. Paid a month before the due date of filing of the ROI. So that is the upper time limit which has been given over here. But right now you first have to add it back, because this they have debited. Contributed rupees 60 lakhs towards the employee pension scheme notified by the central government under section 80 CCD, calculated at 15% of aggregate of salary and DRS allowances, in this case, forming a part of the retirement benefit payable to employees as per what? The terms of the employment. As per the terms of the employment, students, in this case. So therefore, if you see point number K, all of you, what exactly it is? Remember, there is this section 3614A. Employer contribution to the pension scheme. Employer contribution to the pension scheme of 80 CCD. There is an upper limit deduction here also. What is the upper limit? How much is the upper limit, students? 10% of the salary plus DA in terms. Salary plus what? DA in terms. In terms means forming a part of the retirement benefit. DA in terms. So 10% of basic plus DA in terms. So if you see, how much is the, in this case, salary? They have not given you how much is the salary, but they have given 50% of aggregate of this. So 60 lakhs represent, students, 15%. So how much is 10%? How much is 10%, students? In this case, can we say 10%, students, would be 20 lakhs? Oh, sorry, 40 lakhs. 10% would be how much? 40 lakhs. If 60 lakhs is If 60 lakhs is 15%, then how much is 10%? 40 lakhs. See, do cross multiplication, and then excess 5 lakhs is disallowed. Excess 5 lakhs is disallowed. Okay, depreciation under 6 lakhs. Now, if you see depreciation 26 lakhs over here, which has been given to all of you, you will add it back this, and less what? Normal depreciation as per Income Tax Act. Normal depreciation under Income Tax Act. What about additional depreciation, students? Whether additional depreciation, will that also be considered? No. So no additional depreciation, only the normal depreciation. Please come to point number M. Sorry. Yeah, that is true. Excess 20%, 20 lakhs. I got it. Excess 20 lakhs, okay. 36 lakhs, students, by way of dividend received from Knight PTE Singapore, in which Manav Limited has 28% voting power. So I am receiving, students, from whom? From a foreign company, students, I am receiving. Students, I am receiving from whom? From a foreign company I am receiving, students. Who is the foreign company? In this case, Knight PTE of Singapore, in which Manav Limited has 28% voting power. Manav Limited has got 28% voting power. So foreign company. So ATM deduction, students, be careful. I told you earlier also, and I'm repeating this again. ATM deduction that you get is for the dividend that you receive. Dividend that you receive. ATM deduction is in respect of what? In respect of dividend that you receive. Dividend you can receive from either a domestic company or even a foreign company. Dividend that you are receiving even from a domestic company or also from a foreign company. So therefore, in this context, the dividend received either from a domestic company or for a foreign company, students, is what will be eligible for deduction, and there is a maximum limit. What is the maximum limit? The dividend paid. Dividend paid up to a month before the due date of filing of the return of income. So obviously, students, dividend received from the foreign company is 36 lakhs. So which has been given to you? Received is 36 lakhs. By the way, how much you have paid? You have paid 65 lakhs interim dividend, which has been given to you. So now your maximum limit you already know. What is the maximum limit? 65 lakhs. Check out if there is any dividend that you've received from the domestic company. That also needs to be seen before we finally conclude. Okay. So now in this case, students, paid rupees 6 lakhs of donation to recognized political party by way of account paycheck. Paid 6 lakhs to a donation, students. In this case, so donation would be here disallowed in PGBP. Disallowed in PGBP. But it is allowed in 80 GGB. Students, it is disallowed here but allowed in 80 GGB. But the fact that, students, you are a company, which company, students? But the fact that you are a company which has opted for 115BAA, then in that case, chapter 6 say only 2 deduction, ATM and ATM and ATJJAA. So hence this 80 GGB will not be allowed. 80 GGB will not be allowed. Let's see part number 3 over here, students. Brought forward unabsorbed depreciation out of the normal depreciation of AY 22-21 is 14 lakh. This is important because if this is a brought forward unabsorbed depreciation out of the additional depreciation, students. If this would have been, students, brought forward unabsorbed depreciation out of the additional depreciation, then we would have ignored that. Then we would have ignored that. Why? Because you cannot claim the set off of the brought forward losses or the unabsorbed depreciation which is in respect of the block deductions. So if you are following the alternate tax regime, then you are not allowed students, then you are not allowed to claim the deduction. You are not allowed to claim the deduction in respect of what? So you are not allowed to claim the deduction, students, in respect of, or you are not allowed to set off the brought forward losses or the UAD which is attributable to the block deduction. So much of the portion of the brought forward loss or so much of the portion of the UAD which is in respect of the block deduction, that will not be eligible for set off. That will not be eligible for set off, students. And that is the reason why, students, we will say that point number 3 in this particular case, full 14 lakhs will be allowed to be set off, no issues at all in this case. Full 14 lakhs will be allowed to be set off, no issues at all in this case. Point number 4, actual gratuity paid during the year of rupees 105 lakhs is debited to provision for gratuity. So actual, how much is paid? 105. So if you actually pay, is this allowed as deduction? If you actually pay, is this allowed as deduction? To that the answer is yes, it is actually allowed as deduction. So students, see, then the net excess, students, how much will be disallowed? What is the net amount? That will be disallowed. So 180 minus 105. So 180 minus 105. So net is 75 lakh, students, will be added back. 75 lakhs will be added back. What about ATM deduction? ATM deduction, students, they have not given you any information about how much dividend you have received from the domestic company. You only have the information about how much dividend that you have received from the foreign company. That is it. So your ATM deduction would be 36 lakhs. Your ATM deduction, students, would be 36 lakhs. I think that all of you are clear with this one. Fine. Now with this, students, we do now the last question. Although it was really a good question, but unfortunately ICI has done a blunder. It is an incorrect solution. That's unfortunate. But it was a really good question. But then people are asking, sir, what if the same question comes in the examination? You are saying the way you started, every question is going to come in the exam. As if this is only the paper of November 23. Yes, that is also possible. So my thought is this, that students, you do, because it does not mean that those people who have done the RTP, that is a view of the institute, because people changes. In fact, the head examiner who is there for direct tax, she is my student. She is my student. I will not name it, but nevertheless. So she happened to be the student CA final direct taxes. And I know how the things goes in the ICI when they do evaluation. So they, for them, RTP solution is not the base. They work out their solution their way for the purpose of evaluation. And if they are working out the solution in their way, then in that situation, we have to see a correct solution. So in this case, I will modify it. The solution, you will support me to give me the figures for modification. But because there in RTP, so RTP solution would be the alternate solution. RTP solution should be an alternate solution. Is that clear to all of you? So let's do this last question, students, of the day. The balance question we will do on the next class, which is on Thursday at 8 o'clock. Mr. Raj, aged 45 years, a resident of India, employed with whom? With a private company in India, received the following sum during the financial year 22-23. Basic salary is 62,000 rupees per month. Dearness allowance is 10% of basic salary. Royalty income gross received from country M in respect of literary book, 9,80,000. Expenses incurred for earning royalties, how much? 98,000 rupees. Rental income gross from a house property situated in country N. So there are two countries now. Be careful, two countries are involved. How much is that? 2,80,000. Dividend from company incorporated in country N. How much is the dividend? 2,20,000. This is the dividend amount. So can I therefore say country M, royalty income? Country N, students, it is two incomes are there for country N. What is the two income from country N? Rent and dividend. Country M has got only one income, which is royalty. Next, Mr. Raj purchased a residential house in Bhopal for his residence on 1st August 2022 for a consideration of 23 lakhs and paid a stamp duty on it. Beautiful point, students. Can any guess what this thing would be? Payment of stamp duty? Anyone of you are aware of it? Payment of stamp duty will be what? If you pay stamp duty, then it will fetch you what? If you pay stamp duty, students, it fetches you what? Deduction, students, under section 80C. Nobody knew this. This is such minute. That's the reason why this is one of the beautiful questions. ICI has made a blunder of it in the main solution. He paid rupees 26,000. Payment of stamp duty is one of the 80C criteria of deduction. Okay, so just keep that in mind. He paid rupees 26,000 towards his health insurance premium and 50,000 to insure the health of his father. A non-resident, age 72 years. Students, unfortunately, because his father is a non-resident, accordingly, the higher limit which is available to a senior citizen, which is 50,000, separately, they are getting separate 50,000. Huh? Son, his spouse, children, that's a separate limit. Father and all, if senior citizen, if they are resident, then it's a higher limit. But unfortunately, because they are a non-resident, therefore the limit would be separate limit. Limit will be separate from the son. But only normal limit of 25,000 is what will be available for the parents. The rate of tax, now this is where it is. Beauty was this, but blunder also they have made. The rate of tax in country M is flat 12%. Okay, so M has got only one income, royalty, which is 12%. And rate of tax in country N is 20% and dividend income is 15%. So it means what? In this case, 20% is for dividend income, 15% is for rental income. There are two rates for N. No standard deduction is allowed in country N. We don't care. What you do in country N, we don't care. In India, when you compute the total income, you will compute the total income the way it should be computed. Okay, the way it should be computed. Now, every one of you are aware, we have done this kind of a question, Kalpesh question. You can relate with the Kalpesh question. It more or less this, where the thing changes is this one, this part, students. So anyway, first of all, the computation, I will just run through the solution, students. Where exactly we need to change our solution, I'll let you know. Let's have a look through this thing first, students. Quickly. Let's wrap up in the next 5 minutes. But I want you to calculate and tell me the answer, huh? Because that is important. I don't have the calci, you people have it. So how your preparations are going on this time? Going good? Still time is there, friends, to bounce back. Please don't see all these matches and all. These are going to ruin your entire career. November 23 is the last attempt. No, sir, some Asia Cup and World Cup we have heard. That is for me, not for you. Question 23 students, here in. So normal calculation students. So basic salary, 10% is a DA, fully taxable, standard deduction students. Please be careful. This Mr. Raj, if he would have opted for 115 BAC, he has not opted for 115 BAC. If you would have opted for 115 BAC students, in that case, this standard deduction would not have been allowed. Do you all agree? Standard deduction then would not have been allowed. Now, income from house property students. Now, income from house property students, if you all see in this context, what do you all get it? Quickly. Gross annual value, deduction under section 24, 30% flat, 1,96,000. Income from other sources, be careful, huh? Students. Royalty expenses, students. Royalty income from a literary book. After deducting the expenditure, after deducting the expenses of 98,000. So therefore, obviously, this royalty expenses will be deducted. Yes, it will be reduced. And not only that, there will be 80 QQB of 3 lakhs, which will be allowed separately. 80 QQB of rupees 3 lakhs, that will be allowed separately, students. Is that point clear to all of you or not? Yes. Dividend income, students, from company in country N, 2,20,000. Dividend income from a company in country N, students, which is 2,20,000. So this is also an IFRS income. This is also an IFRS income, not an issue. GTI, therefore, students, over here is 20,66,400. GTI would be 20,66,400. Chapter 6A, this stamp duty, medical, 25,000 for himself, 25,000 for his father. And 80 QQB, 3 lakhs. That I already told you. So 3,73,000. Thereafter, once you are done with this, you calculate a tax liability. Total income, once it is calculated, then you calculate a tax liability. You calculate a tax liability, students. And what is the tax liability? Tax on the total income plus HEC. Okay. So therefore, this is the amount of tax. Then, students, over here, deduction under relief under 91. Relief will be given at 91. What is the relief? We will see that relief. So see the computation now, working note, which is wrong. Huh? Here the relief figure is wrong. We need to change this. First, this is correct, students. Average rate we have to calculate in India. How much is the average rate? Average rate is the total tax liability divided by the total income. The average rate, students, as you all know, total tax liability divided by total income. This is what will be the average rate. This is what is the average rate, students. Isn't it? So therefore, this would be the average rate in this context. So accordingly, students, 19.687%. This is the average rate that you always have to keep in mind. After that, students, average rate of tax in country M. The country M has got only one rate, which is having the royalty income. That is fine. This is where they have gone wrong. This is incorrect. Why? Because, be careful. Students, this relief which you are supposed to give has to be as per rule number 128. This is nothing but the foreign tax credit. FTC relief. Foreign tax credit relief has to be given as per rule number 128. The rule number 128 of foreign tax credit relief has to be given. Rule number 128 of the foreign tax credit relief has to be given whether you are having a DTAA with the other country or whether you don't have a DTAA in the other country. It doesn't matter. You may have a DTAA with the other country or you may not have a DTAA with the other country. It doesn't matter. Rule number 128 is what has to be made applicable. Now, rule number 128 says a very important point, and that important point is that the relief has to be given, students, country-wise, that is for sure. Okay, country-wise, and for in country-wise, if the source is having a different rate of tax, if the source is having a different rate of tax, then source wise also you have to give the relief. Source wise also you have to give a relief. I myself have done, in fact in the class also I have told you, while in EY, in this case Shah Rukh Khan return, I have told you students the example. I myself have seen Shah Rukh Khan returns in this case. He had around from 12-13 countries in that year. He has earned the income, and some country like UK, USA and some more, we're not divulging this thing, they had different sources, and because that country also had special rate for each source, so multiple source from a country had multiple rates. That happened for two countries. So how do we have to do it? So first of all, for each country, the credit or the relief has to be given separately. That is sure. And second is, for every country, if there is more than one source, and for each source, there is different rate of tax, then the relief has to be for each source computed separately. What ICI has done in this case, these people have done the average and did one rate 17.2, and this is the rate for country N. Wrong. It cannot be done like this. But ICI is there, so who will have the tenacity to pull their collar? Isn't it? But don't worry, this is the wrong solution. So therefore, if this is wrong, then what is right? Isn't it? Entire life has been between wrong and right. So therefore, students, in this case, I will give you the right solution. How do we have to go about it? But I want you to calculate it because your calculation is important. I don't have the calci with me. So let's see. At least country M, 12% we know. Country N, we will see what is to be done. Now doubly tax income. Let's finish it off country M first, students. Country M, let's finish it off first. How much of the royalty income was forming a part of my total income on which tax has been charged? So if you see royalty income, students, there was a 3 lakhs of deduction. There was a 3 lakh deduction of the royalty income. Also, there was 3 lakhs of deduction, 8,82,000 and then 3 lakh deduction. 8,82,000 and then 3 lakh deduction. So net royalty is how much? 5,82,000 students. 5,82,000. So net royalty, students, is 5,82,000. So 5,82,000 is actually has entered in the total income. 5,82,000 has actually entered into a total income on which the tax is charged. Indian tax is charged. So can I say that in India, on that royalty, the tax that has been paid was only to the extent of 582? In India, the tax on the royalty was only to the extent of 582, and the relief students is only, relief is in respect of what? The foreign income. Relief is in respect of what, students? The relief is in respect of the foreign income, which is subject to double taxation, in both the country, subject to double taxation in both the country, subject to double taxation in both the country. And in that situation, students, I should tell you that 582 is the amount. So 582 is the amount, students, in this case. So all of you students, 582 is the amount of the foreign income subject to double taxation in both the country into the rate. Which rate you will take? Two rates are there. Indian rate is 19.684. That is the Indian rate. And the rate in country M. Country M has got only one rate. Country M is 12%. So I will give the relief at 12%. Whichever is lower. I will give the relief at 12%. Whichever is lower. So therefore it is 69,840. 69,840. Now coming to country N, this is where these people have goofed up. I just require, before I proceed, the rate and the value. Before I give you the correct solution, students, what is the rate for these two? Just keep a note on this rate. Again, we have to keep on going solution up. again and again in the question itself. This is very irritating. Correct. Nilesh, congratulations, heartiest congratulations, Nilesh. No, it was all your effort, but good to know all of you are still there. Be in touch like this, students. After 10 years, 20 years, if I'm still teaching, it will be really be very much a happy time that you people are connected like this, one way or the other, isn't it? Where it is. Country M students, 12%. N, students, for N you just see there are two incomes, isn't it? Dividend and rent. So far as dividend is concerned, 20%. Rent is concerned, 15%. Just keep this rates in mind, because I cannot keep on coming up again and again. And they don't give standard deduction. So there are two rates. Please keep in mind two rates which are there. Dividend 20, rent is 15. Congratulations, Karan. That's so nice of you. I think you people are getting this from your office. You are coming down, and which city, Karan and all of you guys are there. Which city from you are from? Once again, congratulations to you as well. Really feel happy, students, about this sort of performances. Amritsar. I did one lecture in ICI. That time you were there in Amritsar ICI. I did one face-to-face full day lecture that time. Were you there at that stage? Nilesh, Jaipur. Rajgiri, Chennai. Students, I would also be there in Bangalore 1st to 4th for a fast track revision, rapid revision face to face in Bangalore 1st to 4th of October. Let's finish it off this one. Let's finish off this one, all of you, quickly. So over here, students, dividend was 20%, students, and rent is how much? 15%. Fine. So this you have calculated. Now this is what, students, for country N, this calculation is incorrect. Now how you are supposed to do for country N? Students, be careful, huh? For country N. So for country N, students, you will have to do this way. Nilesh. For country N, students, what you will say? First of all, dividend income, students. How much is dividend? Please tell me. One is 28%. This is a foreign rate. What is the Indian rate? What is the Indian rate, students? Indian rate is 19%. I think 19%. We've already written that. 19.684%. So we'll go with this, Hitesh. And therefore, into what? 2,20,000. This gives you how much? 43. I'm just going with the Hitesh calculation. Just respond if this is correct. House property rent, that is 15%. And this is 19.64%. So I'll go with this 15% into what? Into 1,96,000, which is 29,400. 29,400. So this is what is the amount of the relief. So relief would be 43,306. For dividend, house property it would be 29,400. House property students it would be 29,400. And now you can tell me the balance figure. Balance figure would be, so all of you agree to this one? Because this is the lower of 15%. Perfect. So the final answer, students, the total relief is how much? Total relief is 69,840 plus this. The total would be how much? 69,840 plus these two. Because you have to put the total amount above, no? Quickly, students. 142, 546. Okay, so deduction over here, students. 142, 546. Fine. So please change this one, 142, 546. Above also 142, 546 has to be reduced, and accordingly you will get your net tax liability. I hope that net tax liability, Hitesh, 190, 800. Net tax. Aishwarya, for foreign country and these are the two amounts. For foreign country and this is the relief. For foreign country and this is the relief. This is for N. Okay, but then total relief. This is the total relief. Under 91. Total relief under 91. 142, 546. 142, 546. Is that clear to all of you, students? Every one of you? So 142, 546 is total relief. This is the answer. So with that, students, we are done with this. So now, students, I'll see you on Thursday with the other questions are also trust taxation amendment. Absolutely a ultimate question in equalization levy, plus the assessment on the search and everything, 147, all that, and something on the TDS and TCS are there. So it will be a very good session on Thursday that I'm going to see you 8 o'clock, and do let your friends also know about the same in this case. To attend that session, must watch session, students. Sir, I have a doubt in case of cooperative society, why amount is applicable in case of AMT where adjusted ATI is up to 20 lakhs. Means I have doubt in case of cooperative society why AMT is applicable in case. No, that Hitesh would be when actually you add. Okay, got your question. Hold on. Let me see this particular part, Hitesh. I have not seen from that angle. Let me go through it, and if there are any corrections, if at all, that has to be made, I will just let you know in the next class. I have got hold with your question. Next session, I will just see if there is any correction that has to be made. Okay? Because then again, we need to calculate it. It will be this thing. Time would be this thing, but I'll just go through what you have asked and do this calculation if at all there is an angle which you are saying is going to be made applicable over here. Is that clear to all of you students? So students, this is an important RTP. You all are aware and you yourself are witnessing to this RTP, isn't it? Such an important questions are there. And never ever these questions primarily were there earlier in our domain, and we are doing it for the very first time. Must go through questions. Next session also would be again a top notch with a very good questions of the RTP that we are going to do. Let's see. Good night to all of you. Take care. Good night students to all of you. Aparna, Dhananjay, Vardhini, Indrakshi, Aishwarya, Ranjit, Ragnesh, Hitesh, Surya Prabha, Hitesh. Good night to all of you. Thursday students, I'm meeting you. Now Thursday at 8 p.m. Yeah. Thursday at 8 p.m. students. That's the time when I'm meeting you. Fine.